There we go. Thanks very much, Jitsi. Hello to anyone who could be watching this or listening to this. You are about to watch, behold, I guess, is the neutral term for it. If you're either watching or listening, you're about to behold a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online. Online, not online. That's ridiculous. Usually, story games, indie games, OSR games. You can find them at got-rpg.com, where you'll find all the plethora of stuff they do, from blogs to forums to podcasts to their monthly zine, Codex, which puts out supplements to existing games and original games in itself, and also the Hangouts calendar, to which this game was arranged. This is our session 8 of our ongoing open table campaign of Band of Blades, a game of dark military fantasy by Strash Ashimovic and John LaBouffe Little. I'm just going to hold up here. It's a hefty book. Oh no, we're in Jitsi, so it's all reversed. But Band of Blades, there we go. I'll put a link down below where you can check all that out. It's a hack of Blades in the Dark by John Harper. And it is all about the travails of our hardy group of storied mercenaries and soldiers known as the Legion. We are halfway through our retreat through the continent of Aldermark. We are trying to get to the refuge of Sky Dagger Keep as intact as we can. So far, the results of that have been mixed, but we're getting there. We're halfway through the continent. Still kind of reeling from the losses we faced in the Battle of Aldermark Fields against the undead horde of the Cinder King. So the aim of the game is basically all our players embody. At time to time, we'll kind of like zoom in and play different characters doing missions, but we're meant to embody the Legion as a whole. Like we'll just jump in and jump out, just play characters and just embody the struggle of the Legion as they try to hold together with all the resources dwindling, all these threats faced against them. Specifically, some very unruly dice. They just some utterly heinous dice when not in a primary mission phase, which is just ridiculous. Anyway, let's get to meet our players first, because anyone who was watching last session, we had to say goodbye to Matt and Patrick, who has done some stuff, who really created some stellar moments in the past month. But now we've got some new folks joining us. Well, a new folk and a returning folk, so it's many different kinds of folks. But yeah, I'll get everyone to introduce themselves. I'm gonna go by clockwise on how I see my screen, so it apparently changes according to whatever in Jitsi. So I'm just gonna start with myself. My name's Leandro. You see him pronouns. Guess I'm running this. I've been running this. This is our 8th session, so that's fab. Yeah, so just name and pronouns. You don't have to shout out anything. Usually I get people to have to plug something, but you don't have to do that unless you have something you want to plug. But again, you don't have to. So I guess I should have plugged something, but I'm going to eject from this and go straight to Chris. Hi.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris Newton. I will use he/him pronouns, and I'll be playing the commander.
Hell yeah! All right, okay. I'm glad I was afraid when Matt left that we'd be lacking in cats, but we're not. Thank gosh for that. Up next, Dan, would you kindly introduce yourself?
Hey, I am Dan Pusel. I use he/him pronouns, and I'm a technical theater educator in North Texas, and I have been playing and will continue playing the Marshal.
I'm sad to say I forgot what play your group is mounting. It sounded really cool. What was that play again?
It's called She Kills Monsters. I'll try to remember to write down the author's name. I don't have it off the top of my head. But it's a play about Dungeons and Dragons. We're putting that on in April, and we're doing a lot of lead time front end work on it.
Oh yeah, that sounds really cool from what I remember looking at the Wikipedia page. But yeah, I'll put a link down below for anyone who might be interested in a play involving Dungeons and Dragons. Next, joining us for this campaign for the first time, Brian, would you kindly introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Brian, he/him, and I guess I'll be taking over for the quartermaster if I can be trusted to do that, even though I'm new. Otherwise, I guess the spy master. I could do both.
Yeah, it'd be fine. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I
And,
interrupted you there.
no, nothing. That's it. Looking forward to the game.
Hell yeah! No, it's gonna be a smooth ride. It'll be fine. Like you're not gonna have to make some tough choices. Like what campaign actions to do. Like what kind of material should we have? They're not tough at all. They're bread and butter. I mean, literally, you're in charge of the bread and butter of the Legion, I guess. And last but not least, joining us again, having spent the last month wrangling some werewolves in the north of England, apparently. David, would you kindly introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's David, use he, him pronouns. And yes, I am rejoining after being in the first leg of this campaign. Looking very much forward to it. And yeah, I will be presumably taking back the role of the Lore Master in camp.
Hell yeah. Yeah, nothing's happened. The Lore Master has mostly just been busy writing down the names of the dead. It has been a task and a half. All right, so just a quick recap from where we are. So we are now, the Legion is camped outside the city of Westlake. It is the most cosmopolitan, the most self-proclaimed advanced city in the Aldermark. And they've had a right old time. But before I talk about that right old time, I just remembered we should do safety tools first, because those are very important, and I've been negligent about them, so that's on me. I like to remind folks that we do have lines and veils. They're at the very bottom of the Roll20 journal. Lines are things that won't be crossed, just won't show up in fiction at all. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not going to concentrate on them or fast forward over them, or it just happens off screen, or a sentence or two. That's what they get. For Brian and David, basically for everyone, if you want to add some that might come up to you, this is a living document, so it can change. It can change as we play. We're also using the X card for this series. If we do roll into a scene where folks feel uncomfortable for any reason, and any reason's perfectly fine. In fact, you don't have to explain what the reason is, and it could be anything. Like, it could be a name, or it could be like the tone of the scene, or just the entire premise of the scene itself. You can speak up and say you want to X card that either on the chat, either of our chats, either Jitsi or Roll20. They make noises, so we notice. I don't know how to point that out. Or you can say you want to X card that, just say it out loud, or I want to do the symbol and say you want to X that here in the video. I might ask some questions on what's being X carded, but no one gets a question if the card is played. If it's played, we'll respect that. We'll roll back and try something else. And finally, there is an open door policy in this game. If at any point folks need to step away from the table for any reason, whether you have to take care of an emergency, or you're more tired of your thought, you need to step away, or you want to call a break, at any time people can call a break, and we'll pause the game and accommodate yourselves. All right, so yeah, Westlake has not been kind to the Legion. In fact, there is a project in the quartermaster sheet just named Entering the City. It says 6 steps, but it's meant to be 3. So just each of those 2 steps, just consider them as 1. So while you're outside of the city, your assets rating, which is what you roll to get assets like food or horses, is at a 0. Not at the 2 that it says there on the sheet. So they've not been...
Or boats, which help a lot. Crossing.
Oh yeah, you're gonna need that. But good news though, you succeeded in the previous missions. The 2 missions from last session was, one of them, the primary mission was finally taking care of this bandit monarch named the Vulture, which has been dogging the Legion basically since session 4 in the session 3 or 4 in the secondary missions, and through varying degrees of failure have kind of been built up as this threat, to the point where our sniper had to pull out the insta-trauma bullet to kill them, which they did. Did get the attention of Render. So now Render is one of Render's lieutenants, as now has a personal interest in the Legion, so that's fab. You got -2 time and a specialist from that. So we have finally added a new specialist. It took us 8 sessions, but we got there. So you have a new medic. And the secondary mission, you also succeeded on that. That got you an extra tick in the Entering the City clock. It was a social mission. You had to schmooze with some of the church officials to hey, so the undead they do wacky stuff. They don't do this kind of wacky stuff, you know. They don't. Well, they might. That sort of mission, and that got you, one tick in entering the city clock, and a generic asset, which I was gonna like let the quartermaster decide like what it could be. I think it's just written down the sheet, asset from mission. So that's kind of like the tenor of where we are, because we're gonna. Oh, go ahead, Brian. Sorry, I need there.
Say laborers would maybe help us get that last tick.
Ooh, yeah,
Could it be
laborers.
laborers?
Yeah, it could be. I would say like we'll get to like what we're doing in the campaign phase, in the campaign actions. We are in the campaign phase, but the first thing we need to do is time passes. It's at the bottom of the Roll20. I've got like the campaign phase summary. We're gonna do that first, and then we'll go to campaign actions. Laborers would be good. So when time passes, commander time and pressure increase by 1. So that's fairly straightforward. And quartermaster, can you spend 1 food to feed the legion? I think we are just defaulting to you, Brian, being the quartermaster.
Yeah, that's fine. Yes, I will spend 1 food to feed the legion.
Hell yeah. So we're doing fine food-wise. And finally, we've not had this since you weren't here, David. Lorekeeper will tell a tale of the Legion, for sure. If you don't have to do it now, because we kind of sprung this on you. Actually, now that I think about it, I completely forgot as well that what we're meant to do before this is back at camp. I'm sorry, my brain's a bit scattered. And for the past month, that's mostly been me picking from that list. For anyone who might not know, back at camp is like we do like short roleplay scenes of the Legion, of its soldiers, of its command staff, and normally for the last month I've been picking what the frame is, but now it's the Lorekeeper's job to pick a frame. And you see, we picked some of them, but there should be still enough for yourself.
Sure thing. I just want to double check. We are currently at 10 morale. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Cool. In which case I think I think that the one I'm going to choose is storms darken the skies and rumors and wild speculations spread.
I will like note out that in this in the canon of this game, because we ticked that first cock, the South has fallen. So just treat this little town here on a ping on the map. Just treat that as like that is Cinder King territory. But yeah, is there like I'll ask the Lorekeeper this. Is there like any specific like people or do you have an idea of how to frame this like rumors are about? We are at a refugee camp outside the city. You're muted, David.
Didn't realize I'd muted myself again. Yeah, so I think obviously, we're at this refugee camp. It's outside the city, so I think there's a lot of people from different places here, and sort of the stories are changing hands. I think maybe some of the enlisted men in the Legion have been kind of horse trading with the locals and mooching food and stuff off of them and whatnot, and trading stories. And I think that these rumors of what's going on are spreading. I think there's obviously there's tales of the of the victories of the Cinder King elsewhere in the lands. There's maybe rumors that one of the other chosen has been seen like leading a great force against the undead, but no one seems to know any more details than that.
I kind of want to see, if you don't mind me putting out suggestion, David, of like maybe 3 rookies bantering about like what stories they've heard, and the marshal can come in and be like, that's not how this goes. That's not what's happening. Does that sound? Or one of the command staff anyway. It doesn't have to be the marshal.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. Picked the wrong moment to take a sip. Yeah. So we do have still plenty of rookies. There's not an entire squad that's been wiped out. Everyone still has like at the very least two clinging on. We do have plenty of spaces if anyone wants to just create a rookie or they want to take up one that's existing. We have like 5 that have like fleshed out personalities. The rest are fairly blank. Also, David, your other rookie that you created, Rashi, they also got promoted. But did you create it? Yeah, you're the one who created Rashi. Right?
No, I think that was someone else.
Oh, you created Sylvan. Okay.
Yes, yeah, Sylvan was mine. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think if no one else has had a suggestion of which command staff. Oh yeah, you did that, Chris. And he got promoted after meeting some church officials. What the hell? Yeah. But yeah, does anyone have an idea of like this? This doesn't have to be like a big scene. Like it could be like a quick, like 5 to 10 minute scene. I just want to like hear what kind of rumors our rookies are hearing about as they're kind of like camped out, meeting with all these, not the dregs, like the poor, desperate people running from the south.
See, I could see them basically like the folks from the south are like bringing all this terrible news about seeing like smoke on the southern horizon as they're running north to Eastlake and Westlake, and some of the refugees report all sorts of like really terrible stuff, like I'm thinking like maybe on the southern front, since we don't really have a whole lot of involvement there, maybe that's where the other Broken is. Like maybe Breaker is down there, like causing trouble. So you hear all these terrible things about the weather, like all these weird, freakish storms, natural disasters that shouldn't normally happen, that sort of thing. And you've got a few of the rookies that I think it'd be. I think it'd be interesting to have maybe the brash rookie, the Zemyati. I can't remember his name, but Matic created him. The one who's kind of the loudmouth.
Oh yes, he's one of the Silver Stags. His name is Theonin. He was all like, he didn't like our officer. He thought he was better than our poor officer who led all those secondary mission failures. He was on his way to becoming a heavy, actually, I think. Yeah. Theonin's. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was thinking like he could be one of them. I think I was thinking of some of the other at least established rookies we have that would definitely be trading stories. Rashi would probably be one of them because he loves to nerd around about stuff. So he would be writing down like every little bit of story or intel he thought he could find. And I'm trying to think. I think maybe if we're getting like reports of other undead activity or something like that, I'm getting one of the Vipers would probably be there. The alchemy nerds.
Oh yeah, for David and Brian, Star Vipers are like we test stuff. We're into science and alchemy. We're dorks. Although they did well against that wolf forest, so don't count them out. Yeah, and should we agree with like the Marshal is the one gonna come in and like try to talk these rookies down? Cool. You don't have to for anyone who has to create rookies. You don't have to come up with names. Just come up with are they a Zemyati, a Barton, an Alright, or a Panyar, and then just go from there. Like you don't have to have names right there because Lord knows I haven't figured out where in the character sheets the names are. It's can be a bit of a pain. Then again, I would not have to do that. That's all my players. All the players would just have to do that. Right. So yeah, let's do this. I think this is absolutely like probably around the border of where the Legion camp ends and the refugee camp like begins. So they're kind of like in sight, and probably there is like a bunch of refugee kids singing some sort of nursery rhyme about Breaker or something like that. Well, Breaker's coming to get you. No, that's a wrestling chant. Breaker's gonna get no, something like that. Yeah. And yeah, I think probably like the three rookies were like bantering. They're in guard duty. And there's just hearing, that Breaker's coming, and they can see in the skies that like it almost looked like these dark storm clouds are like clinging or leeching on against the blue skies that where we are now. Because where we are now, Westlake is kind of beautiful, except for the refugee camp. It's all manner desperate there. But yeah, so who's playing Theonin? You think we don't have much about him beyond that he's brash and he thinks he's better than certain specialists. And not everyone has to do back at camp. Like if no one wants to, like I can definitely like tag in a random rookie.
Let's see. I'll pick up Theonin.
Mm-hmm. So what's Theonin saying?
Oh, I think he's been out basically drinking at like one of the makeshift, like basically tent taverns in the refugee camp. Like, so he trudged over there during some downtime and had been over there drinking and listening and talking, honestly, more than he was listening. But he's now sort of come back and he's just sort of running off at the mouth about all the stuff he heard and probably some stuff he maybe filled in and made up a little bit too. Like he's probably embellishing because he's still a little bit lit from his downtime. So like if he heard something about if he heard something about Breaker and bad weather, like he's probably like adding in like something about like something about like haunted storms and like tornadoes made up of screaming corpses, that sort of stuff. Like the equivalent of basically like a Sharknado story, but like for the Legion and told by basically a loudmouth drunk.
I do want to say there is a Star Viper rookie like nodding solemnly as you say this. They're leaning on their musket and they're kind of like, yes, it's not. It is known that Breaker does this. But I think Theonin, you're leaving out the grim part where like, it's a tornado made of like skulls and whatnot. But whenever they scream, they all like spurt blood. So it's actually a blood tornado. And when it covers the land, it leaves as like this horrible streak of blood. And and apparently that's all that's left of the city down south, of the southern cities. It's just blood and wounds and wind. I think they look at the skies. We might be seeing that soon.
And then I think you get the sort of the braggadocio that we'd seen from Theonin before. And he's like, well, there's a reason why Breaker's staying down south because, they know what we did to they know what we did to the doctor. They know what we did to this vulture. They know we've been basically running roughshod over everything they've thrown at us. And, he just sort of talks that he just sort of is bragging the Legion up a little bit and bragging himself up a little bit because he was also involved in killing the what was the name of that one? The Eater. He was on that mission with that one, so he really talks that one up and how we basically dropped a cave on one of their biggest nastiest things.
So you mute there, David.
And I think I'll pick up Sylvan for this one, who's also hanging around. Says, I don't know. I think it sounds unlikely. Breaker isn't really known for elemental powers. I think a cyclone made of corpses is out of his scope, really. Now, possibly a lumbering tower of corpses that I can see.
And I think Theoden is like, no, I thought that was Render that did like the creepy war machine thing.
I mean, it's more Render's thing, certainly.
I thought Breaker was the witch. God, there's way too many of these. And he takes another like heavy pull of the tankard he brought back with him.
The other rookie, like when they say, tower of corpses, they just look up to the sky like, what? Well, maybe if Render does have that, what the hell are we gonna do? We don't even have like siege weapons or anything. We just have us and they look around trying to find the chosen, who's not there. Well, we do. What the hell do we even have? Either tornado corpse or corpse tornado or tower of corpses or a tower of tornadoes. What are we gonna do against that?
I mean, I guess we're gonna have to do our best.
I think this is a good time for the marshal to sort of sidestep up and say, I heard there were a handful of soldiers over here scaring the shit out of themselves. Have any of you seen that?
No, sir. I think there are a couple of tents down. Well, okay, no, I'm sorry. So I shouldn't have lied. Yeah. That wasn't them. Sylvan and Thanen, they're being smart. I'm being dumb. I'm sorry.
Well, no, good on you, rookie, for telling the truth. It's we're all a little on edge. That's okay, but you don't need to. You don't need to worry too much about the weather or magical cyclones made of corpses or anything like that. Part of the beauty of being a soldier is that you get to follow orders. You get to do your best, judging on the matter at hand, and you get to cook food and set up tents. Now, one thing you do need to watch out for, this is important, we're camped near this lake, is the piss fish. It's attracted to uric acid. If you go into this lake, don't urinate into the water, because the piss fish it's so tiny, it will swim up your urethra and nest in your bladder. That's right. So also
this has not calmed the rookie down, who I'm going to decide, at the very first session, we had to scare the cat Zemiati. This is totally them. Poor Adrimir, there we go, of the Ember Wolves. Poor chap. He's not been out on a mission. He's not. And he clearly has been pissing in that lake a lot from his expression. He's like, I'll heed your advice, Marshal. Won't be pissing in the lake again.
Good. Best not. All right, men and women. Sorry. You stay about your duties and take care of yourselves, and don't get too caught up in the local legends that the people will share with you. And he wanders off.
And I think right after the marshal wanders off, I think Theoden punches the other rookie in the shoulder and says, "You ass, we drink from that lake."
I think that's a good note. Oh my god. I'm glad to know the Legion's still in high spirits. Morale is at 10, which makes sense. Also, I don't know, David, you're there, Brian, you weren't there, but we did get the relic that means that we don't lose morale for up to 5 deaths. So if we lose people during primary missions, so basically the only way to lose morale is through mission penalties. Really, that's kind of it, because we have to lose at least more than 5 people to lose morale. So it's all good. So that means our quartermaster can do whatever they want. All right. So David, do you want to tell a tale right now, or do you want to save that?
Yeah, no, I think I will. I think it's maybe a little later in the evening. There's a big fire going, and Aswina is sat by the fire, and there's a lot of other, sort of legionnaires sat around, and maybe a few locals as well, as sort of the fire rages. And as I say, she's an older lady. She's a Barton woman who she's dressed in. She probably isn't wearing like uniform anymore, but she's just wearing kind of robes, though not like fancy robes. That something a bit more practical and travel stained. And as the fire crackles, she sort of leans forwards and says, "Now, friends, let me tell you of the time that this legion was first formed. It was 427 years ago in the reign of the 7th Emperor. It was formed under the command of Lady Severina Blacklock, rumoured by some to be a bastard child of the Emperor, by others the Emperor's mistress. But what we do know is that she was a proud and fierce warrior. She was an expert marksman. She could put an arrow between the feet of an eagle on a gold crown at 200 paces, it said. And she reaches into her robes and pulls out a leather thong with a gold coin wrapped around it. Some say this is one of the coins that she pierced with her own arrow. And as I say, she was a great hunter, a great markswoman, and she formed the Legion when the Empire was under attack by the fierce northern tribes. Dangerous men and women, fierce, savage, unmatched in battle. And what's more, they knew the old arts of blood magic and commanded demons. And the commander, Lady Blacklock, led these people in defense, led her legion in defense of the northern passes. She held back the demon hosts, and she took the head of their warlord herself. It is from her that we are descended, and her exploits are what will lead us in battle. She stood against an unnatural darkness, and we shall do the same.
Wow. Choose one effect on the Legion. Jesus. Can't really raise morale more than what we have. But
No, I was going to say, yeah, the morale one's probably out. I'm just deciding between... Do we want a special mission in our next mission picks? Or shall we just go with the... I might just go for the simple one and say each specialist can get 1 XP in any one category. Just because that's nice and straightforward.
Cool. So yeah, when we pick up specialists, when we do a primary mission later, yeah, put one XP in any of those tracks. Jesus, yeah, I don't see how anyone isn't cheered by that performance. And you get to tell another tale next session, David, because we have racked up some deaths. All right, now we roll into the campaign actions. So yeah, let's talk about that generic asset that we got from the church. Brian, what was your pitch again?
Well, it looks like it's a standard asset, which we could not take laborers with. So it's basically food, horses, black shot, religious supplies, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about religious supplies.
Yeah, it's a standard asset.
So we've got plenty of religious supplies. We're pretty good on black shot. We are all out of horses, but food, we've got 3, so we have some time to get more. So I'm inclined to take horses now. But food, if we run out, is much worse than running out of horses.
Well, both of you do think we've run out of horses when we've never had any.
Well, actually, we do have one use of fire mains. Apparently,
they have been pretty good.
So we're not totally out of horses, but they're kind of horses that we don't want to.
Cool. What does everyone else think?
I have no problem with horses. I think those fire mains have proven very useful.
Yeah, and I would like to save those fire mains for like when we have to advance, because they give us like a 2 die bonus as opposed to just a regular old 1 die. So
okay, horses.
Hell yeah! All right, so now we go to campaign actions. Since you're taking on the quartermaster, we're gonna. I'm gonna keep to the rule because we've not used the Lorekeeper, so we're not using the spy master. They did their duty. We didn't get a lieutenant. We got a lieutenant equivalent in that vulture. That's how we did get that mission. So we are definitely going to stick with the Lorekeeper and the quartermaster. So yeah, campaign actions. Quartermaster, how are we? What's the plan? What do you think?
Well, Marshall, how are we all doing on stress and injuries? Do we need?
Our stress is fairly high across the board. Well, let's see here. We have a few folks with little to no stress in the specialists. Injuries generally fairly low, mostly level 1 injuries, and there's only 3 of those. But we do have people who have stress tend to have a lot of stress.
I mean, do we have enough to mount our mission do we have a fresh crew for? Because the most efficient thing is to load everybody up with stress and then clear it off everybody. So if we have enough to push it for a mission.
Right.
Also, I'll point out as well, Brian, we do have some soldiers who can boost actions because they have the trait. We have 2 of them.
Because I think I need to spend if we can push it, we can take an action to enter the city and then take an action to get a hold of boats. And then we can get across the lake much easier. It seems like that's if we could do it, if we could push it and do that, we should.
Yeah, I the way we've been running actually is like I usually ask the session beforehand if we're advancing so we know. I remember Chris, you said we weren't going to advance this session.
Yeah, I know we needed to try and get into the city, and I know it takes a couple of projects to do that, so I hadn't planned on advancing this session.
Yeah, so we can get boats next session for sure, because we're not advancing yet.
Okay.
I think we could man a mission, either let me see here, assault or recon mission, or potentially where'd you go, medics? Assault, recon, or religious mission. We would be good to go, I think. Other than that, we'd be sending in some very, very compromised specialists.
Hmm. Well, Commander, are we willing to commit to trying to do one of those types of missions, or?
Depends on which missions we have available, but
Yeah,
I think we've
I
got
don't think we get to know that in advance. Huh?
yeah. There's at least we'd have at least one of those types of missions that we could do, and we just have to be very careful with that. I don't necessarily. I think it'd be a good idea to put at least one action toward getting us into the city.
Well, yeah, for sure we're doing that.
Now, sometimes the missions themselves might have a boost to get us into the city. So there's that possibility as well, but we can't necessarily depend on that at this phase. So I think it can't hurt to put one action toward that. Are there still any long-term projects in the works, or did we finish all of the ones we had started last time?
There's a map project and a survival training project that have both completed, and nothing else has been started.
Okay, that's good. So we got those two finished, so that will help our rookies survive.
Yeah, the map project for just for your own knowledge, Brian. Map project reduces pressure by 1 whenever we advance, which is very useful. And survival 1. I forgot the exact mechanics, but it does just ensure that like our rookies don't die in unless I think it's a total failure. But like
our rookies survive with harm. I think as long as it's not a total as long as you don't completely blow it.
Yeah, it's not a 1 to 3.
Gotcha. Okay. Because we could complete the entering the city, and then if we don't have to take liberties, then we could maybe recruit some new rookies. Would probably be the best thing to do. So we're down to 20. That's not a huge margin.
If we get into the city, though, until we get inside the city itself, we only have 0 dice asset.
Oh, is that?
So I don't know if we can use one action to get into the city and then be able to use the city's full asset dice.
Recruit rookies is a separate action from acquire assets. You automatically just get 5 whenever you recruit.
Oh, then yeah. You can't definitely we got some refugees out here. We can probably recruit from pretty easily since we actually have food.
Okay. Does that sound like good? Does that sound good? All right. Let's do that then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So five new rookies, and we'll go ahead and enter the city. I'm not going to roll to enter the city because we just need the 1 tick anyway, so it doesn't really.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I do want to know what does it look like? Who do you send over to like negotiate with the council officials?
I don't know. Who do we have that's a charmer?
Well, we're all smiling as if we know what. No, we don't have any.
We don't have that.
No.
Actually, I think
Go ahead.
isn't one of the either one of the Bartons like really friendly? I know we have at least one
We've
really
got
friendly
a
Barton.
medic with 2 in consorts. Raya Arani.
Yeah, I say I know we had somebody that was really good at like chatting. So.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Raya is pretty good at been. Well, she's now reckless because of that trauma she got. But like, no, she's usually pretty good at talking to people. Yeah. So, and we don't have to play it out. I just want to like frame the shot of like, okay, we did some negotiations, and now the Legion is marching into Westlake, which is just it's lovely, It doesn't look like the war has touched it at all. Some perfectly lovely streets. There is some bustling merchant square, luxury goods, well-lit lamps. The city's so quiet at night. I think the Legion is like been given like one of the given like a couple of squares where like they can like set up shop, and there's like probably like some extended rooms at like the city guard barracks. I think, given what the Legion's been doing, you cut down the vulture, you schmooze with the church officials. They're like, okay, yeah, all right, cool. We have we're fine with the Legion. You know, they're a fine, upstanding fighting force that have helped check back the undead. All It's all coming up Legion. It's all coming up Westlake. There are probably like some refugees who like snuck in, and I think some of them kind of like have these like faces on. They're like, "Don't forget about us once y'all depart." All right, so you are now in the city. So that means it's like, yeah, your acquire asset dice go to 3, which is fab. And you said you wanted to recruit. Ooh.
Yeah, it sounds like
If you boost that action, 2 of those rookies are soldiers.
if we had any supply, that'd be nice. But
We do have 2 soldiers. We have 2. We have a specialist and a rookie that has like a trait that lets you boost a campaign action.
I think that just boosts it for themselves, right? So they clear more stress or they heal more damage or whatever.
Oh,
It's just not going to help for this.
We've not been following that rule.
That's my understanding.
I will actually, you know what? I will double check that because otherwise that's been incredibly helpful for us. But I will double check that. I mean, if that is the case, then whoo, I probably should have checked that. Let's see. Boost action. Where is that?
Because it says boost 1 campaign action for you.
Oh, does it say that?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to get action. Well, it's a fine time to learn that in the middle of a. Oh yes. Okay, there we go. They're effective. That's fine then.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna do that.
Shut up, Brian. Why are you?
That's fine. Okay. All right. It's fine. It's a good thing to know in the middle of a campaign. Now that could really put the screws into the session. But all right, yeah. You get 5 rookies anyway. So up to 5 rookies. I'm gonna suggest, Marshall, what you do is like you can create an entire new like squad. You see that plus box underneath Star Vipers. I suggest you make box and just start putting all the dead soldiers in there so that our existing squads can take on new rookies. Does that make sense?
It does. I don't see a create button under. Oh, wait. Is this on the Marshall sheet?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Easy. All right.
All right. So, funny thing is that I'll say this right now because, like, I know you were talking about special missions, David. But when I was rolling mission creation, you are going to get a special mission. So, I'll just say it.
Cool.
Say that straight up.
That's I was gonna check, but I thought actually, to be honest, even if we didn't, it's just like having to come up with a special mission on the fly. It's just like just take the XP.
Oh no! Special missions are tied to the location. There's like 3.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And when I was rolling mission generation, well, you'll see what the missions are. All right. So yeah, we have 5 rookies. That's amazing. All right. So where are we? So Commander, are we advancing? Nope. Okay. We are sticking around. All right. What am I? Sorry, I just have to remove a mission here. And you chose mission focus type. It was supplies last time. Sorry, I'm in the. Okay. Just figuring out because like I prepped 4 missions. I need to delete one of them. Give me a second. Figure out which one. Here we go. Okay. So save changes, and then gonna show to all players. And yeah, so if you go to the top of the Roll20 under the missions folder under Westlake. Oh, let me archive one of those. It's not important anymore. Yeah, missions for today is under the 0202-2020, which is apparently a palindrome. Amazing. The apparently a palindromic date only shows up once in a millennium, so we should cherish today. Well, we don't have to. I don't know if you care about palindromes or not. All right, I'll read out the missions for anyone who might be listening. So I know at least one person watches / listens to this. Hi, Jim. So the first one is a supply mission. It's a special type. Westlakers don't recognize that missing people in an odd disease of the blood are heralds of something more sinister. But the annals of the Legion do. The last emperor was destroyed when practicing similar rites, which use sacrifice and blood drinking to grant great arcane power. Now those symptoms have begun to emerge amongst Westlake streets. Armed with knowledge of what's being incurred, the Legion are set to prevent it from happening. Have each player pick a specialist to play and investigate these symptoms. When it says requires there, vital means it has to be a primary mission. Like, it has to be. And obviously specialist only. So, wow, a rare all 4 specialist bonanza. So that'd be interesting. So the rewards are +2 supply, 1 religious supplies, and a relic called Curdled Blood, 4 uses. Once per mission allows the Legionnaire to ignore penalty of maxing out stress and keep fighting for as long as they roll success. So basically, if you keep rolling a 4 and above, if you take that when you're meant to like max out, you're going to stay on the fight. You can't push yourself though because you've maxed out of stress. But yeah, that's something, I don't know, that could be used for the Legion. But the penalty is like 2 Legionnaires go missing. 2 deaths. So that's fab. Mission 2 is a recon mission. Kavia, who is a defected blighter engineer that we picked up 2 sessions ago. In the last mission selection, there was like, oh, she knows some of other defected blighter engineers who have a mission for the Legion, but they chose not to do that. So instead, what happened is Kavia's contacts with Carhal, who's like the main. She's a lieutenant of blighter. With Carhal's defected engineers report that a coterie of its more militant has decided to strike out for the blooming cast to retrieve their personal effects. That was kind of like the mission they asked the Legion. We left our personal effects at this inn behind enemy lines. Can you grab it for us? And this Legion decided not to do that, so they decided to do it themselves. The inn is now well behind enemy lines, but Kavia's contacts insist that those in the retrieval party are still alive. The mission could also be a chance to find out which Broken's forces have committed themselves to the offensive against the lake cities. The rewards are +2 intel and troops, if rescued, a maximum of up to 4. So, okay, more rookies. But the penalty is +1 time. And the last mission is a religious mission with a favor of holy. The Aldermark nun, Erelda Mayer, the one who got the Legion to talk to the church folks, has reported an unexpected visit to a nearby religious site. The Twin Hallowed Church has been invaded. They reported a ragged band of bandits corrupted and at the end of their rope being commanded by a shambling, headless creature clothed in feathers. The scattered pilgrims also reported a soldier tied up within the church looking for all intended purposes as if they're going to be sacrificed. Upon hearing the description of the captured soldier, Erelda has asked that the Legion accompany her to help cleanse the site of whatever befoulment the bandits have enacted on the church. The rewards there is you get a new specialist, an officer, +2 special abilities, +4 actions, and +2 XP to anyone who participates if Erelda survives unharmed. But the penalty is -1 morale and +1 pressure. So yeah, that's your selection. We go first to the commander. Initial thoughts.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely leaning towards taking the special mission because that'll give our chosen another tick on their advance clock. And it will also give us 2 supply, which we do need, because we're currently at 0 supplies. On the secondary mission, this is where it gets tricky. We could definitely use more intel, because we're missing our spies that actually gave us the extra intel questions. So we could definitely use that extra +2 intel. But the other mission gives us another specialist, which would also be really good. Does anybody have any thoughts on which of the other two missions to choose from, or some alternate take I might be missing?
Yeah, I'd agree. We probably want to take the special mission. But with the other two, I think it's sort of. I don't know which, in terms of like the penalty, I don't know whether the pressure or the time is more of an issue for us. But
time, yeah, losing time is worse than gaining some pressure, for sure.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things to offset our pressure. Like we've got the map project, and we've got the horses.
So. Yeah, the extra specialist would be nice, but I
have a thought about a specialist offer with 2 special abilities. You could take. There's one ability that lets you get an extra die on the engagement roll, and then you could also take a veteran advance and get, I think it's called attaché from the medic, so you could send him on like every secondary mission to get an extra engagement die on that. Just a thought. And then that one also would give XP to the chosen, right? Which would be enough to pick a new ability, I think. Which would be pretty good.
Yeah, I think the only downside is the complete loss of that intel, which we're at 0 intel right now. Because we blew it all last time to up our chances on that engagement roll. So we wouldn't lose another batch of rookies the last time. So, it's a tricky.
I'm a little anxious about this special mission because it requires 4 specialists. We've got 3 specialists who aren't like in their top tier of stress. One of whom is slightly wounded. Yeah, we'd be sending in some pretty rough looking soldiers.
Now, do we have? We have 2 medics now. Could one of the medics offset the wound penalties? Right, they can use like 1 tonic or something like that.
Yeah, I believe so.
So we could offset that as a problem if we undertake that. And again, that +2 supply will help a lot because we're at 0 supply too. We've got that, so that's. What's our current status on our specialists? How many specialists do we have that are fresh?
Fresh.
Well, let's start with that. Fresh.
2.
Okay. So we got half of what we need that are completely fresh. What are our other 2 specialists that have the lowest stress or wounds?
Let me see. We've got Scarlet Dancing Glade, who has 1 stress and 1 first level wound. I think it's just the 1. And other than that, we have our officer, who has 4 stress and some low level wounds. And Landgrave Farah, Raya Arani, who has 4 stress, no wounds, and Landgrave Farah has 5 stress, no wounds. Yeah, so one of our soldiers going in would be 4 or 5 stress.
Yeah, and if you take that mission, like it can't be a secondary, so like stress will factor in.
I guess if we did that, maybe Landgrave Pharaoh might be as I think if I remember how the heavy works, they can probably are the most well equipped to not have to take stress. because they get the thing where they can like soak consequences with their special action, can't they? I think.
Yeah, they and generally the heavy is wearing armor, and that sort of thing. If you're sending in a heavy, at least. So, the other thing to consider is if we end up doing the recon mission, we do have the special ability to get an extra die on that mission if we send a Panyar on it, because of the Chosen's last advance. And if we send a Panyar on a recon mission, they get a +1 die to the engagement roll.
And that's simple. Both our scout and our sniper are Panyar.
So, and I think the sniper's pretty high stress level right now. I think they
took a trauma, so it actually gets rid of all their stress.
Oh, well, maybe okay.
Yeah, they fired the trauma bullet.
I wasn't sure whether that was trauma or harm, how it worked out. So okay.
It says immediately take. I know he dug into his arm to pour blood all over that bullet, but no, for some reason didn't take harm from that. It's just trauma.
Okay.
I did not expect Matt to go with that kind of activating that bullet to go that far.
Okay, so if we let's sort of sort this out, because this we're definitely taking the supply mission because we definitely need supply. So which two specialists do we have that are fresh?
Our most fresh specialists are Silver Surging Flood, our sniper, who does have the 1 trauma, but I haven't counted that. And Valeria Albrecht, our brand new medic.
Okay. So we've got 2, and then we go to, let's see, the officer who has 4 stress, you said?
Officer has 4 stress, and that is you'd want to send either your officer or your heavy or your scout on your supply mission.
Okay, well we definitely have, the heavy would probably be there because they're in good, like we discussed before, they're in good stead to make it through without having to spend stress.
Those bargains galore.
Yep. All of them you can get. So, all right. So
I think because of. Oh, go ahead. Okay.
I was saying which 4 specialists would be best to spend on that mission?
On
our primary special mission.
Oh yeah, let me real quick double check. Is that a religious mission?
It's supply.
It's a supply mission. Okay. So let's say we could send our fresh medic alongside a Scarlet Dancing Blade. If we want to save Silver Surging Flood for the recon mission, that he'd want to be left behind, which means then we'd want to bring either our additional medic, our officer, or our heavy. 2 of those 3.
I don't think. Do we need to send both of the medics on one mission?
No, but we do have 4 slots to fill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the issue is that that both of our Panyar specialists are fresh, basically. So they're both the best choices for the actual mission, but sending one of them on the secondary mission would be a.
Okay.
I will say from personal experience, having a trauma is great. It's awesome. So
in Forge in the Dark games. So anyone might be listening to this in Forged in the Dark games because XP.
Okay. So if we did on our list, if we did missions 1 and mission 2, with mission 1 being obviously our primary. I'm thinking that's the direction we're going to go in, and that will pretty much be the end of the commander's like decision making on this one, and then it'd be up to the marshal to sort everybody out. That will give us resources that we currently do not have, which are supply and intel. I don't like the losing out on that extra specialist, but I think right now we really need supply and intel for the purposes of boosting our roles in the future. And it wouldn't hurt to have those extra 4 rookies.
All right. So now it's Dan's burden to assign who's going to what mission.
Great.
As going commander. Sorry.
Let's see here. Our recon mission. Let's send. Right, it's a recon mission. Supply mission. Well, let me pitch this to the group. Would anyone like to play our heavy, our officer, or our scout? I think mathematically somebody will have to play one of them. I ask because these are folks that need to go on. These are appropriate staff for supply missions. So let's talk about a recon mission first. I think sending Silver Surging Flood on that would be appropriate. Which, let's see here, for right now, I'll make a note of that and we can figure out who else goes on that. Flood on recon. Which means I'd say Scarlet Dancing Glade, Valeria Albrecht. Let's send our officer, Melislav Zayevich, and do we anybody want to play Landgrave Farah? Sweet. All right. Okay. So the only person who is not involved in anything is Raya, and I'm sure Raya wouldn't mind going on a recon mission with Flood. I think that sounds great.
All right. So who wants to play who? I'll point out that Valeria Albrecht is very new, so she doesn't have assigned abilities yet. She has 4 extra. I think Dan, you noted it in her character sheet. She has 4 extra actions, and she starts with 2 extra special abilities. She already starts with 1 because she's a medic. Saying that for anyone who might be taking her. It should be 2 starting abilities. So so she gets 3 at the start. Plus the one that she already 2 plus the one she already started with. Which is no, that was me stacking the deck on the Legion picking the vulture mission. Hey, you got a specialist. You're a defector. So just to run it down, going on this on the special mission is going to be Scarlet Dancing Glade, the scout. It's going to be Valeria Albrecht, the medic. The officer, Melislav Zayevich, and Landgrave Farah, the heavy. Okay, cool. All right. So who wants to play whom? I know it's a marshal who's meant to assign that to each person, but
Chris, it looked like you were interested in Landgrave Farah. Sweet. David, I think you made Scarlet Dancing Glade. Are you interested in
I'm happy to play whoever, but yeah, sure. I'll take Scarlet if no one else has a particular yen to do so.
Great. Let me see. Brian, do you have a preference between a medic and a officer? No. Okay. Well, let's get your fingerprints on a brand new character. Why don't you play the medic? Does that work for you?
Yeah. Oh, I should specify the medic is all right. I think I didn't mention that, but yeah. So take from those. They are runaway noble. Yeah, I think that's the most we got from them. All right. So I think what we're gonna do is we're in here for an hour and a half. We're gonna take a break, and then when we come back, let's say it's good 10 minutes. It's always good. When we come back, we'll pick load. We'll figure out Valeria's starting abilities, and then roll some engagement and see where we are. God, we're doing an urban mission. That's so weird. We're not going to be in some boggy field full of hand mines or undead wolves or horses. It's going to be grand. Cities, streets. What's up with that? Anyway, I'll let y'all go. Let's come back in 10 minutes. And yeah, keep cracking. BRB.
Have no face to show. Please don't take off my mask. Light the sky. all along, confessing while alone without the clue, without a sign, without grasping it. The real question to be asked: where have I been? I'm a sharpshooter. Apples masquerade, hiding both face and mind, all free for you to draw. I'm a sharpshooter. What else should I be? Please don't take off my mask, revealing dawn. Moments of calm, nothing left to be found. A mirror right in front of me is where I found an empty glass, reflecting as a tree. Still it was the two I need them mask. I'm a sharpshooter. Apples masquerade, hiding both face and mind, all free for you to draw. I'm a sharpshooter, chained down to my core. Please don't take off my mask, my place to hide. I can't tell you how to see me. Just a cage of bones. There's nothing inside. Will it always be burning down the walls? Is there a way for me to break? I'm a sharpshooter. Apples masquerade, hiding both face and mind, all free for you to draw. I'm a sharpshooter, have no face to show. Please don't take off my mask, my disguise.
All right, looks like everyone's back. Just want to do a quick check-in. Everyone's doing good? Everyone's doing fine? All right, so yeah, so we're at the load picking part, so I'll give you all a few minutes to like consider which what load you're taking in. No worries. No worries. Jesus, yeah, fair is on the cusp. Can't really push themselves, can't assist. Can resist, but more than likely that will knock them out.
Just quick, just general question. Like on the primary mission, does anybody see any reason why we might need like anything more than like a normal loadout? It was.
Yeah,
It seemed like it was a straightforward investigation thing, Marshall. Like in David or anybody. Like,
yeah. I assumed if we were going to be in a city that I wouldn't need to be packing like rations and stuff like that. So yeah.
I'm considering heavy because it gives me 2 extra tonics, and I can take the ability to use that to get rid of level 1 harm, which I think we're like starting the mission with. Is there 3 level 1 harms out there, like at the start?
The officer has 2, and I think Scarlet Dancing Glade also has 1.
So
I
just
forgot
like
one of these.
shooting everybody up with tonic to start the mission seems like maybe a good idea.
that's a valid consideration. The heavy's heavy loadout is basically I'm toting around a tower shield and like enough explosives to level a building. Like that's.
Yeah, I'm just loaded up with medical supplies.
I completely forgot that we gave the officer a level 1 harm of board.
Yes, I noticed
We'll take care of that.
Yeah,
I was going to say it's not medicinal. It's something else, but
it's a tonic, just more colloquial tonic than medicinal tonic. Yeah,
We'll put pep in his step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like.
So does anybody think I might need to blow up a building? Because that's basically the step up from normal that Farah gets.
I guess the there's an argument that if someone is coming along in heavy loadout, then you may as well. But
maybe we need to put on a show. Maybe that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Farah will go with the with the heavy loadout then, and just know that you do not want to jostle her.
Yeah. And I mean, because I said I put Scarlet together and I built him to live in normal load, so it's
makes sense. All right, sounds like everyone's picked a load. I guess it's time to roll engagement. Which I know you've not seen this, Brian, but like these champs are pros at rolling in primary missions. Like nobody ever dies. There's at least 1 or 2 crits. It's disgusting, but great. It makes them look fab. All right, let's go to the engagement roll, Marshall.
All right. Legion loyalty. Everyone on this mission is oath sworn to the Legion. That's 1 die. We don't have any intel for the commander to spend unless I'm right. Okay. This is a first. Everyone on the mission is a specialist or soldier. That's another die. I don't think there's been any reason for anybody on the mission to openly distrust the I guess the commander on this one, or the officer on this one. Let me see.
Yeah, none of the rookies who don't like him are on this mission.
We do have our required specialists, and it's not recon, it's not religious, it's supply. Quartermaster, would you like to spend a food to equip the mission?
We do not have a ton of food.
That's totally fine.
I'd say no.
Okay. And is the current pressure higher than 2, Commander? Oh, you're muted, Chris.
It's at a 1. So
great. All right. Sounds like a 2-die roll.
Oh. All right. Well, XP. Just think of it as XP. They rolled a 3 and a 3 for anyone who might be listening to this. Right. 3 and a 3. That's interesting. Okay. Usually, what I like to do, which just to full disclosure, is usually to stall time. I kind of want to. I usually ask everyone to like give us a shot of like each person, what they're thinking, what their demeanor is as they head out to the mission. This is interesting because you're going out into Westlake streets. And I'm gonna say right now it's probably nighttime. The council has asked you to not tromp around at on daylight with fully armed, especially how armed some of y'all are. The medic is suspiciously well armed. But we did describe Westlake. I think it's written there in the special rules sheet at the bottom. Like Westlake's streets look perfect, well lit, patrolled by guards. So I kind of like want to get a shot of like each character as they're kind of like going through the streets, and maybe like from like the day, just give us like a quick snapshot of what they're doing to like investigate, like who they're talking to, what are they searching through, and then I'll put you all in your desperate position. So whoever's an idea, feel free to speak up first.
Yeah, so I think we see Scarlet Dancing Glade. He's a Panyar scout. He's got kind of olive skin. His hair is dyed scarlet red and plaited into braids. He's got big tufted cat ears, and his eyes have that kind of reflective shine of cat eyes to them as well. He is clearly sort of dressed for like being out in the wilds more than he is for being wandering around town. He's got a bow slung over his back. He's got various pouches with stuff in them, but he's not looking particularly laden down with stuff. But he is. You can kind of see from his the manner that he's not entirely happy with sort of being around in the city. It's not what he's used to. It's he's probably doing his best to sort of like lurk in the shadows, in the streets as he's wandering around, keeping eyes peeled for trouble. But ultimately he's walking down the street. I think we do sort of get, in like this sort of montage of him, we do get the odd chat of him talking to people, maybe sort of, sort of hanging around outside sort of alleyways and things like that, where he has a quick word with people. But mostly what we see is, him kind of, his eyes are sort of constantly moving as he's sort of like looking around, looking for trouble, looking for any signs of anything out of the ordinary.
I think whereas maybe Scarlet is sort of riding the periphery, like just under the eaves of the building, stuff like that. Like Farah is basically like a walking tank, and she's stomping down the middle. So basically, most of the people that would be paying attention to suspicious activity are really paying attention to her because she draws that kind of attention. She's walking down there with like a tower shield and like a big ass broadsword, strapped across her back, and she's basically, I think, there to draw that attention, while you guys actually like talk to people at the edges, so the people aren't paying quite as much attention to what you guys are doing and are paying a lot more attention to what she is doing, which is basically making a spectacle of herself.
I just realized I have the name of the character I was playing last time I used Jitsi. In my name, I'm going to change that. Oh God, yeah. Oh, she had a happy ending for sure. Sorry. All right, Dan, you muted there.
I think. Let's see here. I think Officer Zayevich is engaging city guards. Is absentmindedly sort of picking at their fingernails with their ritual with their ritual blood oath knife because he is pretty stressed out, but he's asking about we've heard stories about missing people and some contagious diseases around here. We've been told to investigate, and we thought you might have some idea of where we might want to look.
They're a nice, personable officer. What about our medic?
I think our medic is trying to get our officer and our scout to hold still long enough to take a tonic or two, and having trouble catching up with her because she is all way down with all of the extra medical gear that she brought along.
Yeah, I think this is probably like at the end of the day. The sun has slipped into night. I think you all, the four of you, finally like gather at like this like, I'm thinking like this like crossroads, and probably Valeria, the medic. You're like, all right, finally can apply this tonic. When you hear a noise, you hear a bunch of voices coming from one of the streets, and you hear someone shout, "There they are! That's the Legion! They're the ones who brought this disease into our streets." And if you turn to look at the street where the voice coming, you see a mob. And it's a bunch of like no, they look like middle class, or at least the equivalent, the fantasy medieval middle class. They they're sharp contrast to the refugees you've seen outside. They look like well positioned, well armed. Well, not well armed, but like they look well. But some of them are waving swords. I don't know where they got them. Some of them are waving sticks. A lot of them are waving like torches. There's like a man in like this brilliant looking overcoat, and his voice the one shouting. It's like, we didn't have this blood curdling disease into our city until ye lot came along. I don't know what this accent is. And he's kind of like he's striding up to the four of you, and I think you hear as well. You're in this crossroads, so you hear like another mob is coming up on the other street. There's like two streets are like free near you, and I think this man who is waving like a club with what looks like these like horrible nails like poking out of it, or like coming out of it. Yeah, proper plank with a nail through it. They're just like, Westlake was fine until we opened the gates to the likes of ye, and you've brought disease into our streets. You brought death in our streets. Soon you'll bring the wrath of the Cinder King upon us. What do you do?
Well, I think I think to start off with, like, Farah sort of interposes herself between like this particular mob and the rest of the crew. But we've also got that other mob coming up, so that may or may not help all that much.
Sorry. Okay. Fair.
But that's basically she's basically standing there quietly. She is not good at talking to people, but like her, you could, like, all the rest of the Legionnaires can tell that like she is in a stance to where she could probably like haul off and clock the snot out of somebody with these heavy gauntlets she's got on, but she is not moved to do that yet. She's sort of basically giving you guys some space to sort of throw in there. Hopefully manage to talk these people down.
Who wants to try that? Any of you liable to try that?
I think Zayevich might be ready to give it a shot and say, now, citizen, that is if I remember my logic classes at the university, that is post hoc reasoning. That is if then reasoning, because this then this. That's a logical fallacy. You just because we arrived and then you started noticing deaths doesn't mean that we caused the deaths. Correlation and causation and stuff. Now, you'll want to put that club down. As you can see, my friend here is a tower of steel. I have other friends here who have fancy guns like this one. Now, we can all walk away from this very chill, very happy, or we can start an altercation. We will get kicked out of the city when really we have a medic here. We are working on taking care of the deaths of the blood disease that's infested your city.
Yeah, we're here after what's causing this. Believe me, I have no desire to be in this city any longer than absolutely necessary.
I will step forward with my holy symbol of mercy, and I'll go ahead and give you an assist on that.
Yeah. All right. So, I'm assuming what action are you rolling, Metaslav?
I think it's a sway.
Hell yeah, man! We've never had to roll that. Can't really sway undead, horrible monsters, I suppose.
You can try.
Oh wait, no, you swayed that one spearman after Zaya chopped off his friend. Anyway, all right, yeah. So yeah, sway is absolutely desperate. I think the presence of gigantic woman tank Farah bumps you up to a standard. It would have been limited because he has a crowd behind him, but I think Farah being all intimidating will bump you up to a standard. Take that assist. Do you want to push yourself, or I guess you can't, because if you push yourself, you'd
Right.
be knocked out. If you want to take a devil's bargain,
can you tell me a devil's bargain, and we can figure that out?
the other mob will get there as they're like talking, and you probably won't like. And I will say right now, they're not as amenable as this man is going to be.
That's fair. Then let's hold off on the bloodshed, hopefully. So I'll take that assist and not the devil's bargain. Let's see
Desperate
what we
standard.
get. Desperate standard.
Hey, there's a 6. See,
Sweet.
get used to 6s, Brian. That's all we roll. Okay, so I think.
Don't forget to take your XP.
Oh yes, XP. Because we're in a desperate position. I think your use of language is enough to confuse him. He's just like, wait, you're oh my gosh, you're college educated. What the hell are you doing with this with the military? Okay, hold on. And he looks really confused. I think people near him are just are quite confused as well. I would say, hold on. I think, what's a correlation again? I think he doesn't say that. No, I don't think he says that. But I think he's definitely like, okay, all right, okay. I'll take your fancy words to mean you're not here causing the disease, but clearly you're here because you're here about it, right? You Legion folk wouldn't be trouncing around here armed to the teeth if not for any interest in the disease, are you?
We're trying to find the root cause of the disease and ideally stamp it out.
I think there's like murmuring in the mob behind him, and the crowd kind of parts, and this teenage girl kind of like walks up, and hold on, let's go something very specific. Yes, okay, yeah, this teenage girl walks up. She looks well-to-do. It's got this nice, her hair's all braided, and she says, if they want to help Father, we can take him to see the latest victim. And the guy in the overcoat with this indecipherable accent that I'm not going to try again. It's just fine. Come here. And I think he leads the four of you into like the crowd, away from the other mob, for sure. And there's like murmuring. It's just like, and they take you to like, this like they take you to an inn, and the girl leads you upstairs, and her dad leads you upstairs, and there's this like they lead you to like this very well appointed room, and there's another man just in on a bed, just like sweating. And actually, I'll ask the medic, what are these symptoms of this blood disease? Like, what's popping up?
Sorry, I'm just reading the description in the mission.
Yeah, there's not much. What I got there's from the book.
Yeah,
Disease
yeah.
of the blood.
Which use sacrifice and blood drinking to grant. Okay. It's got a little bit of a vampire-y feel. I was talking about drinking blood and to gain power and stuff. So yeah, we'll go with like symptoms are like super pale skin and an aversion to light and it's probably a good start there. What else?
Anyone want to add symptoms?
And maybe just like teeth stained red.
Ooh.
I'd go along with that. I think you'd have like some other like weird discolorations. Like you've got the really pronounced pallor. You've got the teeth that have this sort of reddish tinge to them. Maybe the gums are bleeding, and that's what makes it look like that. Like you have like some like maybe some mild like gum disease type effect, but it looks like their teeth are covered in blood when really they just have really, really tender gums. So anything they eat or drink just causes additional redness. And you start to and you're having this sort of blackish tinge to their nails, like around the edges, because it's actually bruising, but it looks like they're turning black, kind of thing. So you've got this weird blood flow issues and circulation issues going along with this. Like it's not going where it's supposed to, and it's going to all these strange places that it really shouldn't be going to. And maybe you've got the eyes have a discolored look to them, where the not bloodshot, because that would be just kind of obvious. That would be like almost a normal symptom. I think the irises become discolored and get this sort of maybe orangish tint to them that almost gives them that sort of cat-like effect, like kind of like what David was describing. But it doesn't give any additional like help to them. It just basically makes their eyes more sensitive to light, kind of like a porphyria type thing.
Ooh. Yeah, I think that's probably enough to work with. Unless Dan or David, you want to add some more symptoms on this poor chap? I think this chap is like feverish. You can see his sheets are like soaked in like sweat and whatnot. And there are like some folks who are like kind of like sitting around, just kind of like watching him. There's like probably a beleaguered like local doctor. I don't know how I don't think Farah can fit in this room.
I think Farah is doing like her thing of basically she's guarding the doorway. She's trying to make it look like she means to guard the doorway, but really she just can't get in there. Like this is like a small room. So she could not fit in that doorway unless she literally like bashed it in. So she's just sort of standing outside, like looking intimidating.
Yeah, I think the man who was leading you kind of like he moves to like wipe a bit of sweat off the man on the bed, and he just says like, my poor Makit, he turns to Valeria, to you specifically. Is this is not something we've seen ever? Is there anything you can do?
I will try, and I'm gonna approach, and I want to examine him, but truthfully, I'm more trying to just learn more about the disease than I care about actually treating this guy. Although, if I can treat him, that's a bonus. But yeah, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull my some books and out of my bag, which was part of what was weighing me down, and I'm looking to see if I can find any record of something similar.
Yeah. What are you rolling with?
Research.
Okay. Yeah, I think for position, this is risky. I don't think you're desperate anymore. Or if I rolled a 6, you probably would still be a desperate. Not even running down the streets, but no, this is risky. I'd say because partially you've learned up on Legion annals. You kind of have a vague idea of disease, and you have the books and scrolls. Let's put it great effect. I think you're well set to figure out something good. But yeah, this is risky great. Do you want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain?
I can think of a devil's bargain.
All right, what you got?
This guy dies while I'm examining him.
Oh, that's I mean, if you want to take that, I'm not going to stop you. See, my other one was going to be that you're just going to take corruption, which is less interesting, but probably less harsh.
Probably, yeah, probably a better trade. I would take just 1 point of corruption.
2.
2.
Yeah.
All right, let's just take the corruption.
Okay. All right. So,
so 2 bonus dice.
Wait, 2 bonus dice?
Yeah, 1 for the books.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot you get those in the books. Cool.
Okay. Here we go. Ooh, down to 6.
Hey, yeah. See, there we go. You're in the land of 6s now, Brian. Yeah. So, tell me what you find out. You got a 6. You tell me. All right, this might be too much. I mean, if you don't have anything, I'll tell you what. But I'm curious what Valeria finds out examining this person in terms of this disease.
I mean, definitely something about how it's transmitted, and something useful to trace it back, where some kind of information about where this guy got infected, so that we can start connecting dots to lead back to a source.
Ooh. Here's the interesting thing. What you find out about this disease, the way it was transmitted, you can't see any puncture wounds. You can't see any ways it could got into their bloodstream. It's almost as if it just got it went just underneath their skin, or just went through their skin. It's that potent. And I think as you're examining this and you're saying this out loud, probably one of the other squad members, maybe maybe Meslav or someone's kind of asking where was this person been, and his I'll say right now his husband is just kind of fretfully saying I told him not to go on an errand. It was dark, and these people with these symptoms are popping up, but he insisted that he had to talk to people with money, which is code for loan sharks. People with money to settle this settle our debts. And well, when he didn't come back after a few hours, we sent some folks and we saw he had and he tells you where the street is where he was found, for sure. And he says it looks like he crawled from a spot to get to where the crossroads where they found him. So that's what you get. It's just this disease looks like it just infected him. Doesn't look like from any the usual entry points, like fangs uh, or injections, whatnot. It does just look like he just was standing there, and this disease kind of like just went through his skin.
Couple of hours, that's fast for an onset.
Is it curable?
I think I'm just going to shrug.
Did I get it? Do I have some kind of record of something similar, or what? Some idea of like a treatment?
I think I'll give you this because you do have the books as well, and we did mention in the blurb that the Legion recognized this. This disease is a side effect of these arcane rituals, and usually the way to best cure them is to like at least ensure these rituals aren't happening, so that this effect doesn't keep getting stronger. Because that's what it is. It's been getting stronger, for sure. So, I think you would know how to cure it. It takes time, some certain medicines, but it's not going to get better so long as the vector for this disease is still out there.
Got it. Okay. So I'll just say, keep him comfortable as you can, and if we can deal with this successfully, then he has a chance of recovering.
I think. Go ahead.
If one of you knows exactly where this place was that he was found and from which he was crawled, we could certainly use a guide there. We're fairly new in the city, as well,
The man has the grace to look ashamed about that. Sorry, it's my burp. Apologies. And I think he just like gestures at like some of the folks who are like standing guard, and one of them will just take you straight up. I think the last see is that like him and his daughter looking at the just caring after the man in the bed. And your guide leads you again through Westlake's winding streets, and it's quite still. It's calm. It's quiet. There may be some church bells like ringing. I think actually like when you get to like the crossroads, you see that like you're in like these well appointed like houses, like 3-story places. The streets are remarkably clean. Compared to like other places you've been to, like in Plain Squares or even Sunstrider Camp. Well, that was a camp, where it's all just a mess. It doesn't really look like the wars touched this place. It's weird. You do see like one landmark, this gigantic, ridiculous Gothic cathedral, towering over the buildings. For sure, it's like this big, dark edifice. And I think the man sent like 2 with you, just like 2 regular folks, and they kind of like point at like you see they're like on these crossroads, and they're like, we that's where we found them, Governor. We I don't know why this guy sounds like Jack Kennedy. That's where we found them, just half alive, just on death's door. And
you said it looked like it crawled. Where from?
Just about yonder there. And they point at like a dark alleyway which is leading towards the church.
Cool. I think I'm just going to kind of walk away from them as they say that without any pleasantries and just start heading towards the alleyway.
I've taken the time of that walk to actually get my tonic into we've got three level 1 harms to take care of, right?
Yeah.
As the officer chugs one of these tonics and says, that's good. Thank you for your help. I think we'll take on the investigation from here and let our patient know that they will be the first to know when the vector for this disease has been abated.
I think they're not. They're a bit more skeptical, but like because they were part of the mob. They weren't leading the mob. That's a bad judgment on people in mobs. Yeah, they're like nod. They're a bit confused. They're like the medic just like handed them a tonic. Metastab chugged this and they're like, right, citizen, we're gonna do right. Yeah, so yeah, Metastab, you can clear one of those level 1 harm. The other person who needs it is Scarlet, but he's wandered off. So Scarlet, what are you up to? You're muted, David.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm going to start checking out checking out this alleyway, seeing if there's anything out of the ordinary here. I mean, from the obvious, like big piles of bodies, to anything less obvious than that. Anything that sort of shows there's been something unusual happening in this alley itself.
Hell yeah! So, what are you rolling with?
It's probably going to be a scout, I'd say. It feels more scout than research.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so this is gonna be a risky standard, I'd say.
Sure thing.
Do you want to push yourself or take a bargain?
I think I'm actually just going to roll on this one. I'm at 3 dice, so yeah, I think I like my odds.
All right. That's your decision.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm confident in y'all. Never rolled too badly. Maybe fair in the previous mission, but yeah, risky standard.
It's a 5. Yeah,
it's a 5. Okay, so I think all right, so I think you go through like the alley, and you can see like this is Westlake, so even the alleyways are kind of like nicely lit. Like there's enough light bouncing from the lamps that you can see through it. And I think, yeah. Tell me, like, how do you spot? Like, how does Scarlet like scout? How does he notice like the trail?
Yeah, I think he sort of sees. So obviously, like this place may have even been cleaned since the person was found. Who knows? But I think that what said some of the skin is a bit more damaged than normal from this disease, and I think he sees some traces of blood like down between the cobblestones. Not enough that it looks like something's been gutted here, but there's still a telltale trace of blood, enough for him to see, and I think that's enough to let him pick up the trail. And once he's sort of started to find that trail, he'll just sort of follow along the alleyway and be keeping his eyes peeled to see for anything coming. Not coming, but for anything then obvious that looks like it may have been.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere that like maybe somewhere has been. I don't know if they need close contact to transmit this or anything like that.
I think you pick up the trail and you can clearly see that like the damage, the blood and whatnot, it stops right outside you're on the side of the cathedral.
Right.
For sure. And you'll see that it absolutely stops right next to like a doorway. There's just absolutely like this big side doorway, this cathedral. But you're on a 5, so here's what happens. Bells start ringing. And you feel this nauseating taste waft from the ground itself. And it tastes tangy. It tastes like rust, and it's at the tip of your tongue. It's always there at the tip. It's annoying. Like you feel like you want to scrub your tongue, but it's just there. It's not in your full mouth. It's just at the tip. It's just there to remind you. And I think you definitely I think you're gonna hit by that first. And I think the bell tolls again, and back to the folks at the crossroads. These 2 blokes, you see this, I think, first, Farah. Their eyes start to get like this tinge, and they start kind of like sweating. and you feel and you see that like kind of like their veins are like bulging, and I think one of them just says, "Protect the Empress, protect the Empress," and they pull out their knives and they're gonna come at you, Farah. What do you do?
I think she's basically just gonna basically punch them as they're like sort of husking and like starting to pull out the knife, just with those big heavy gauntlets.
Hell yeah. Probably shouldn't have turned to you first, but like you haven't rolled, so all right, what are you rolling with?
I'm guessing it's going to be skirmish. Basically, she's clocking them in the face. Hopefully to incapacitate them before they can do anything stupider.
Oh, I will say that like the complication is that you're all now in a desperate position as this like energy starts wafting. I mean, you can resist that, Scarlet. You're not gonna stop these two people animating, but like if you want to, Scarlet, you can. I don't know how you'd resist that, but you always can.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's an obvious way to resist that, and I'm sure we can deal with being in a desperate position. That'll be fine.
No, that XP, that's a not a bad thing to have. But all right, so yeah, you are Farah. You're a tall tank of a woman with big gloves, big gauntlets, and a heavy load. You're in a desperate, great position to punch these poor fools, and they are quite poor. Oh no,
Okay.
no, they're doing fine.
Okay, I got a 6.
Yeah, hell yeah. So yeah, you are just good to it. There, I think you knock one of them with such force, you knock them against the other person, and they will just like crumple against the wall. But I think at this point, the you three will start to feel what Scarlet is feeling.
And Scarlet is just going to spit onto the cobblestone to say, "Fucking priests."
I think Farah says, "All right, whatever is going on here, we need to put a stop to it." They seem to be this seems to be centered around this church building, and she pulls out her backpack. So, do we want to just blow it up?
They just allowed us into this city, like earlier today. We may put off exploding churches for another day. Also,
she slings her backpack back over her shoulder and says, "Okay, you're in charge. Just what do we need to do?"
I say, "Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. No, go ahead."
The aftertaste on this tonic is terrible. May I please have another tonic to wash out the aftertaste from the previous tonic? The first taste is great. I think there's rosemary in there, anise. It's really lovely, but the aftertaste is very coppery and tangy.
Yes. Yeah. There you go.
Wait, are you tasting like rusty copper flavor too? I didn't even have a tonic.
It's the tonic. It's
no,
no,
because I'm getting that.
Yeah.
It's like some sort of smell that like leaves this weird taste in my mouth.
It tastes like
You do need to take another tonic, though, so go ahead and just take it.
Sounds good.
it tastes like the blood from slightly spoiled meat.
And the bell tolls again.
Is that what that tastes like? I've never tried to eat slightly spoiled meat. Okay. A note to self.
I'm living for all this Legion banter. So anyway, yeah, what are you up to? The bell is ringing. The taste is fulminating. What's the plan?
So do we need to like figure out what's going on in the church or under the church? I mean, obviously the guy crawled from the church, right?
Yeah, I say we go in, we find who's been doing this, we put a stop to them, and then, if needs be, we blow the church up, but let's hope it doesn't come to that.
We all know it's probably going to come to that, but okay.
Always have to. Like, come on. All right, I need to double check something. Give me a moment.
I've had some of my best moments blowing things up, I'm just saying.
I know, yeah, no, you took care of an infamous that way. I need to really double check something. Yeah, so are you all just gonna march into the church? Is that the plan? Hold on, folks need to BRB. We'll give them like a minute or two.
I was kind of hoping David would climb a wall and look in through a window or something. Scarlet seems to be really good at finding stuff out.
Yeah, I don't know if Farah or Valeria would be up. They came in heavy. They're not gonna start climbing anything.
Yeah, I would just smash in a door and look around. that would be Farah's scouting. Just run through a door.
Cool. All right. Give them a minute. Meanwhile, I look through some of these character sheets. Okay. Jeez, there's been one mixed success so far. The rest have been just full on with you do it, which is fab. Legion has to look proper cool. All right, we're giving Dan an extra minute. Their BRB. How was it? I don't manage to march into the cathedral, is it? Probably not. Oh. I just figured out the consequences of not taking that the mission you didn't take. I just realized what the consequences are. I'll tell you later. All right, I seem to be having an internet kerfuffle where I'm not seeing cameras for Dan, David, and Chris. I see Brian fine. Brian looks utterly fine. Hey. Oh, there's Dan.
I was going to say Jitsi does that for me sometimes as well. It's
so the most confusing thing is still, yes, everyone's back. The worst thing Jitsi has done is made one of the players the game I was running sideways. I don't know how that happened. So yeah, she had to do that the whole time, and I was she had to go like that so it'd be right up. But I was like, you don't have to do that. No, right, no, oh no. Here we go. All right, what's the plan? You're not gonna walk into this cathedral. You could. I'm not gonna stop you from that. So actually, no, I shouldn't say you're not going to. Do whatever you want. So yeah, bell's ringing. What's the plan?
Could I boost or toss Scarlet up to a window so they can look in and see what's going on?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was thinking of trying to come in maybe down, through come in from the top rather than from the ground, and do it sneaky get my
Looks like you've got a climbing kit. You could probably get up to a window and then maybe there's a rope we could all come up.
Yeah, get my Assassin's Creed on and
yeah. Okay, so I think what's gonna happen is I think probably Scarlet can get up there themselves. They're gonna roll something that'll be a setup action, and everyone can do a group action to get up there. I know some of you are very heavy though. Some of you are quite heavy. So maybe we'll stick to maybe just scouting for the moment. See what Scarlet can see.
Sure thing.
Because if you're heavy, that will impact the effect for sure. Yeah. So either Scarlet can climb or I don't know. Farah can toss. I like the image of Farah tossing Scarlet, but that doesn't have to be a roll. I think it's just a good image. But Scarlet, what are you rolling?
Yeah, I will again go for scouting, and I think I'm going to try and find a window that I can look in and see what's going on, and possibly make an entrance through if necessary. But
all right, so that's going to be your desperate for sure.
Yeah,
I think this is standard. I think not really limited because there's some weird stuff happening, but I think Let's see. What else do you have? Yeah, you do have your climb kit actually, so I think that'll get you up there. We'll keep it a desperate standard. Seems.
Yeah, that sounds fair. I
Do you want to push yourself or take a bargain?
what bargain is on the table?
Um, I think you will all feel the disease start clamping onto you, and I'm gonna put a 6-step clock on the board. If that clock fills up, you're all gonna take quite a bit of corruption.
Ooh, it's kind of tempting just to add to the pressure. Yeah, go on then. It feels appropriate, to be honest. I feel like we should be at risk of having our blood curdled.
Hell yeah! All right, so yeah, take that die. Desperate standard. I'm gonna put the clock on the board. Go. Let me rename that.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Standard.
There we go. Blood corruption. Nice. It's a nice standard clock to have.
That's a 4. In fact, that's a lot of 4s.
Wow.
Unfortunately, that doesn't get me anything extra.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it gets you XP. For sure.
Oh, true.
All right. So I think the consequence is just going to be a nice. It's a desperate consequence. Oh, that's even better. No, it'll be nice. It's just going to be 2 ticks on the clock, which is a third of the way there. So I think
I am going to try and I'm going to try and resist that.
All right.
And I think the way I see this being is probably resisting. If that's okay with you, is probably resisting with prowess, as I essentially just try and move as quickly as possible, so that it doesn't take me as long. It doesn't take as much time. So there's less time for the disease to take hold.
Oh, I just realized. Hold on. What you rolled scout, right?
Yep. Oh, so is it you always resist with the...
No. When you make a desperate roll, you gain an extra die. That's one of your abilities.
Oh yes, so it is. I'd forgotten about that as well. So I'd say I will roll. I'll just roll. Is there just a thing for rolling? I can.
Yeah, it's a /R space 1d6. Just roll that. We'll see if it helps. Nope, it doesn't help. Okay, all right, that's fine. But yeah, no, I get to choose what you're resisting with, and usually I go with in the category that you roll for. I think insight is just like because I think you are getting there quicker, but like you feel the disease and you know what's happening, so I think you will just like get up there quickly enough. So that's 3 dice.
It's in fact 4 dice for me.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
no stress.
No stress. Yeah, excellent.
All right, so no ticks on the clock. So okay, here's what you see when you go up the window. You see, mass is in session inside the church, but it's a weird kind of mass. All the people are just sitting in the pews. It's a wide collection of the who's who in Westlake. They're all just sitting there. And they're all just like staring forward. And yes, absolutely, I'm conceiving this church as a Roman Catholic church because that's the church I grew up with. And when you grow up with a Roman Catholic church, it's kind of it's all encompassing. So that is my own bad. Yeah, so they're all like sitting in their pews. They're all just like staring out, and you can see that like there's an altar at the front. And here's the thing I'll give you because it's still a success. You see, like, from the altar is like this goblet of blood, and the blood is spilling from the goblet, and there's like rivulets going down from the goblet into the altar and down past the altar into something behind the altar. And you can see like there's like this hole dug out behind the altar, kind of like blasted out. And these people just like sitting in the pews, just like staring forward.
Cool. So yeah, I think I'm going to swarm down back off the roof to the others, and say, okay, there's a whole bunch of people inside. They appear to be under some sort of enchantment or something. There's blood and it's being siphoned down underground. So our best bet might be to find a way into the crypts and bypass everyone that's up there.
Should we try to like stop the ritual, or do you think we should just head straight into the crypts?
We could try. My worry is that if those people turn into if they're under some sort of compulsion, they might come for us. And I mean, I rate our chances against them. They're just a bunch of city folk, but they do seem to be a bunch of important city folks. So.
All right. Oh, sorry. I saw Metislav, you muted. All right. Cool. So everyone's in agreement that they go through the crypts. How are you doing that? I remind folks like you got like stuff like flashbacks or.
I think I have a suggestion for maybe a little flashback. This doesn't go too far back. I think that when we were admitted to the city, we were given like a little quick tour, like the top level staff, the specialists, of like the biggest landmarks in the city. And I think this monster of a church was almost certainly one of the big things they took us to, just to show off like this is our city and here's this glorious cathedral and here's our wonderful docks and that sort of thing. And as part of the history of the cathedral, they walked us through like, and here are the ancient crypts where all the great leaders of the city are interred, and that was right behind the church, so that we kind of got this sort of easy, sort of very quick thing that gives us a basic idea of where the crypts are, and probably at least an idea of how to get to down into them without having to actually go through the church to get there.
Yeah. Sorry, my internet is being slow. It's suddenly I can't see anyone except Brian. Brian's just been resolute. Turns on my latency. That's so weird. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Drop in and drop out. That shouldn't stop. Go again. That's weird. Sorry. All right, cool. Okay, I can see everyone now. Sorry about that. Yeah, that totally. I think that sounds like a feasible flashback. I could be an artist and say, oh, that's a one stress flashback. That seems unreasonable. I don't want to knock out Farah right now.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. Just the memory of going on that horribly boring tour and she passes out.
That would be and the medic has run out of tonics. All right. Well, no, I think you still have enough. You still have one more for Scarlet, I think. This might be the time to give that now to Scarlet as you're making your way to where the crypts are.
Sure.
Maybe Scarlet doesn't want to drink it. Just like sneak up behind him and like jab him with the hypo. Just
your fantasy medieval hypo.
Just wrap it up in a bit of meat and.
Oh, this is like early modern, right? They probably got one of those like ridiculously horrifying looking hypodermics, like one of those big giant ugly things. It looks like you'd kill people with it.
Oh God. Yeah. So I think you'll get to the crypts easily enough. I think you at least to the entrance for sure. I think what you see though when you're I'm imagining like you see like there's this big stone like building where the council members were like, oh yeah, here's how to get into the bones of Westlake. so to speak. And you see that, like, yeah, you go in there, you open the gate, and I think it's nobody brought torches, did they?
I have oil, so we might be able to make some makeshift torches. And I have a soldier's kit. I can't remember what a soldier's kit covers. Hold on a second. Let me see.
Let me see. Flint and tinder. Oh, a lantern. It has lantern.
Oh, okay. Well,
I do also have my trusty flare gun with me should the need arise.
Ooh, that may be. Yeah. So yeah, I just looked at the soldier's kit. Issued identical soldier's trade parts and customized. Contains bedroll, flint and tinder, knife, lantern, small mirror, soap, shaving kit, trowel. Well, yeah, soldier stuff for sure.
Cool. So we got a lantern.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, I'm very much imagining, yeah, it is almost like a street when you're going there, and around you are like these like graves, or like, you know, these like markings of people. And I think once you can tell you're getting closer, because, like, again, the tanginess on the tip of your tongue, it's almost cloying now. It's like blooming around your mouth. Just a fun thing to it's a fun sensation for sure. And I think when you kind of like, when you're near like where you think you are underneath like the altar, you'll see that like there's like the entryway. You see like there's like a door leading to a bigger chamber, but you see four I wouldn't say they're four of the city guard, but they're just kind of like standing slack-jawed, holding like spears, kind of like limply in their hands. But then I think they see you, and like in unison, their eyes kind of like go zero in on the source of light, and again in unison they rasp, "Protect the Empress!" And they ready up their spears. What do you do?
I think Farah basically lifts up, the tower, pulls the tower shield around in front, hands the lantern to whoever's immediately behind her. Probably Melislav, maybe. Okay, and I think what she does is she turns that big monster of a tower shield broadways, so it stretches like 6 feet across, and she's going to try and basically bull rush those guys and sort of hopefully knock them down. They look like hopefully they'll be a little slower on the uptake, since they seem to be sort of loopy a little from that stuff. So hopefully she can knock them all down so that everybody else can get past them.
Right. Okay. So what are you rolling for that?
It sounds like skirmish to me. Basically, I'm barreling in, and the risk to me is them stabbing me with the spears.
Yeah, for sure. I think even though like you got a long tower shield, I think there's 4 of them for sure. This is going to be desperate. I'm going to say standard. I would suggest if you want to spend a point of anchor to make yourself count as a small gang, they'll put you up to great.
I'll go with that.
Yeah. Do you want to take a bargain?
Yeah, no, not at this point. We've already got that one bargain floating out there, and I'm not sure I want to add another one to it right now.
Cool. So anyone want to assist?
Yeah. I think that maybe. I think actually, yeah. I was going to say, I was thinking that I'd assist by maybe trying to change it, but I think actually what I'm going to do is maybe assist by trying to get the others to move past when, so that we kind of get past them quickly. As that's my kind of, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Take a stress. Pass Farah another die. Desperate, great. You're a small gang with a fine tower shield, and these are city guard. You rolled a 6 because of course you did. Of course. Who anyone roll anything lower than 6? Maybe once or twice, but that's about it. Mark XP. I'm play acting being bitter. I shouldn't point out to anyone who might be second guessing. Like I'm not angry. Like, come on. Like, y'all look awesome. Farah, What does it look like when you bum rush these like city guard?
I think Farah made the call that they were a little groggy and were reacting a little slowly. So what they were supposed to do is maybe put the spears up and brace them, but all they were able to do was sort of raise the spear up to, like they were preparing to brace it, but they were way slower than they should have been. And so basically the spear hits them like straight on. The tower shield hits them straight on. The spears go back, so they're forced like into a position where they can't really use them over or around the tower shield at all, and they get like basically bashed up into the wall. And hopefully that knocks them loopy for a little while to allow everybody to get past.
Yeah, and I think everyone gets past like as you're kind of like doing that. And here's kind of like what they see. They see that like there's just like this oval sort of like chamber. There's like it's almost like a small amphitheater. There's like a lot of like stone seats leading towards this like center point that you're looking at, and you can see there's a hole up top where the cathedral is. That's where the moonlight is coming in, and you can see like the rivulets of blood pouring down from the altar, and they're pouring down on this like central point where the amphitheater is, and there's a person sitting like cross-legged there, and they're being drenched in blood. She's wearing like nun vestments, and her eyes are like closed, and she's like concentrating. And then she opens her eyes when she sees like the four of you, and she says, come to attend my ascension. It's always good to have the Legion of Aldermark to attend to the return of their empress. And she like stands up, blood still pouring through. And you can tell, I think I'll say to Medislav, like you saw this nun kind of like when you were off getting bored out of your mind, talking to the church officials. She was just some random nun. She's not the same one that like entreated you. It's a different nun. Actually, no, I think she looks exactly the same. I'm deciding right now. They're twins. There we go. So she looks exactly like Erelda Mayer, the nun that like brought you all to that boring mass, but got you all horses. But like, there's like a clear difference. So like that one was like, kind woman who was helping the refugees. This one stands up and you can see like there's like this steely, just like dark glint in her eyes, and the blood is still pouring over her head, and you can feel the disease strength just kind of like almost expand. She looks excited. What do you do? I'll turn to either Medislav or Valeria since we haven't seen them in action in a while.
I would love to flash back to a setup action to doing more research, and so that like research, like a flashback, you see Valeria like reading books on the last time the Legion like encountered this kind of thing, and then when we come back to the present, you can see her like holding up the book and like seeing the picture of like much more like to us ancient looking style Legion and weapons and dress of whatever they're wearing, but of like very similar looking situation and like how they defeated this thing before.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna say that's a no stress flashback. That's something you easily could have done. It's controlled since you were like studying in controlled environs, and you had your books. So as best a roll could be is a controlled grade. So
okay,
give you that. And it helps that like the Lorekeeper had just told the story of the founding of the Legion. I mean, This is obviously not the same story because you're fighting off against this tribe.
To a certain extent, like the Cinder King is like something new and like is kind of kicking our butt. Like this kind of thing is the thing that the Legion's been fighting forever, and like we're kind of in our comfort zone fighting this kind of thing. Like this is the kind of thing we're supposed to be facing on a regular basis. All right, I guess I'll just roll it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, see, keep getting 6. Campaign of 6s. So, all right, what do you find out? Or do you take care of this thing, this incident in the past? Not you specifically, but the Legion. And this could be as simple as shooting her. Like, I'll accept anything because you rolled a 6 on a controlled grade.
Yeah, maybe it's just something like, aim for the head or something like, or aim. I don't know. I guess aim for the heart has got to be. You got to hit it in the heart to hurt it. Something like it's a blood thing. That would make sense.
It's a blood thing.
Yeah,
It's a blood thing.
it's a blood thing. You got to hit it in the heart.
Love that. I think so when we cut back, you're pointing you're holding up the book and just like aim for the heart or something more dignified than that, probably. That's gonna give y'all improved effect when fighting against her for sure, because that's what set of action does. And I think you hold that book and she just kind of like laughs. She does like a proper noble woman sort of high pitched laugh. She's almost like arching her head back because she just finds that hilarious. She thinks you're gonna stop her. Melislav, what do you do?
I think Melislav is going to go into another flashback and use his use of channels to try and get something. I think there was maybe a discussion about this research, and so Melislav has tried to bring something special. Be it, I don't know if Blackshot is would help with this, or if maybe like, hey, I've got this specialty pistol that's got a sight on it or something. So I don't know exactly what it is.
We'll see you roll because you're gonna roll sway on this.
Right. And I can say maybe there's a little kind of slip of something under the table. We know you keep stuff off the books with the quartermaster. Sweet. So sway. We'll say risky standard, risky desperate.
I think I think whatever you get, the sway is to determine the quality. I kind of like the idea of, I know this is a flashback, but like, because you're in a desperate moment, it's not so much like what it is, but how you use it, which will determine the quality. So yeah, let's keep it desperate. Let's give you some XP. I like that. Desperate standard.
Desperate standard. Okay. Cancel out of that. Cancel that. Sway, risky, desperate, and standard. And I do get a bonus die when I am acquiring assets in that. So,
nice. Well, there you go. That's another 6. Nice. So yeah, I think it's something religious.
Maybe it's ammunition with like holy symbols inscribed on them or something.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I think. Oh, hold on. Definitely. I think your fine pistol, which you have, Melislav. I'm gonna say you have 3 shots of this. Actually, no, you rolled a 6. 4 shots. But each shot is gonna be, if you hit, it's gonna be, because the way we're doing the maths, she's like her threat level is equivalent to a infamous. You all start at 1. I think the research will bump you up from limited to standard, and I think this specific shot, if you shoot her with it, will bump it up to great. If you shoot her in the heart, you'll be really great.
Okay. Now, is there a way that he would have dispersed this ammunition to anyone else bringing a pistol on this mission?
I can give you a stat as part of flashback. You roll a 6. Who has pistols?
Right.
So it's just the 2 of you. Scarlet, you don't have any pistols?
No, I use a bow.
All right. So you got 2 shots each, Melislav and Valeria.
Sweet.
Does any of you want to make the first shot, or do we want Scarlet to try and do something?
I mean, I'm happy to take a shot, but I'm happy to let someone else go first.
Yeah, I think like everyone probably knows that like the people with the pistols ready is Valeria and Melislav. If that makes sense. All right. So, go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
Do you want me to lead this group?
I can lead it in a group action. I've got a special ability that allows me to take just one stress, even if the things go terrible. Does that jive?
Okay, I'm relatively low still, but you can lead it.
All right. So, what are you rolling actually? What is the action? I guess it's straight up shoot, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, desperate. She's standing there laughing at y'all while blood is dripping. I think she laughed backwards, so blood is dripping on her forehead now. It's kind of getting into her face. It's kind of disgusting. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, if we're doing it as a group action, I think that that Scarlet will shoot now as well. I think what he's actually going to do is he's just going to like take a shot. Just he's probably going to shoot just before the others do to try and basically like pin her shoulder or something to kind of put her off balance, and that's and is already sort of knocking the next arrow. But yeah.
Ooh. Fab. All right, so this is going to be desperate because of the presence of the pistols. It's going to be great. So it should be all good. Farah's taking care of the spirit people. That's fine. So yeah, desperate, great. And Melislav is leading. Shoot. Okay. Whew. Okay, well, there you go. Okay. Oh, wow. Jeez, our former bandit, runaway noble medic pulls through. Okay, hold on. I
Say, you gotta hit the heart or it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think.
I thought you said the liver. That's...
Yeah, I think when she like. Okay, here's this because of time, I was gonna put another clock, but I'm not interested in that. I think definitely. Jeez. Yeah. I think when she finishes laughing, like you see like the three of you pulling out like your pistols are down ready, and I think she just kind of like chuckles as well. Scarlet shoots the arrow, and she just kind of like waves a hand, and like this wave of blood. This like tendril of blood shoots out from like the pool on her feet and just grabs the arrow mid-air. And Melislav takes a shot, and she just does the same. Only she's like she swats the bullet. I don't know how she does that, and she's about to say something along the lines of the Empress has learned from she's about to go to a villain monologue when I think. Valeria, describe to me this shot.
I think the reason Valeria gets the shot is she's holding up the book, and so she doesn't see the pistol that she's basically hiding the pistol behind the book and is able to just surprise her with the shot.
Yeah, I think she's just to proper like ham it up. I think she definitely says like. I've spent millennia learning from my mistakes. What have you, Legion, done? And Valeria, you put down the book, reveal the pistol, bang, and I think I
think I've got the book like actually draped over my pistol hand, just like so. Just looks like got the book over her hand, and then
bang. And I think she like there's like we kind of close up her face, and it just looks. She went from sneering to shock. It's like when Snoke got killed off in The Last Jedi. Like she's all ha ha ha, and I think she just I think as soon as like her heart gets hit, I think the light just goes out of her eyes, and she just falls forward, head first into the pool of blood, and I think. You all feel like the disease just kind of like lessen. It's still gonna be there. There's gonna be a lot of like quarantine and medicinal stuff. There's probably like in between now and the next session, they're like some folks helping out like clear disease, get the people infected, cured and whatnot. But I think You did it for sure. Jesus. Oh, nothing but sixes this lot. I think yeah. I kind of want to like see what this like each person's like squad's like demeanor or like reaction once they like Valeria, the newbie medic who kind of just came in, takes down this ancient legion enemy once more.
Yeah, I think
I think
Scarlet. Oh no, go ahead. Okay, so yeah, Scarlet just gives kind of a nod. He's going to walk over and tap her on the shoulder, I think, and say, "Nice shooting, Doctor."
Nice.
I think Farrah comes over and she basically gives her a well-meaning punch in the other shoulder and says, I bet Scarlett's really glad he got you out of that tent that time.
No, that's not the same person. Sorry, that's this person's sister.
I thought
no,
that was the one we recruited from the tent.
No, that was their sister.
Okay.
The one you recruited from the tent is actually no, that's not even the same. No, they're not even related. That's another person whose name also starts with a V. So that's why it's just confusing.
Okay, well, we've rescued so many people from tents. It's gotten weird.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that. Thanks for pointing it out, Chris.
but yeah, says we're gonna have to bring you along more often.
And Melislav walks over and says, this whole thing has been a test set up by the Legion. I'm happy to say you've just passed. You're now a full-fledged member of the Legion. Sorry, that's terrible.
So and I think as everybody's starting to wrap up, I think Farrah turns back to Melislav and say, I mean, don't you think it'd be a good idea to at least blow this part up?
We'll get the townspeople out from upstairs first.
I think at least a couple of blasting charges in the corpse is the safest way to get rid of it.
I think Larry comes out of whatever shock she was under and says, wait, but we gotta give me those empty tonic vials. We got to collect our curdled blood, which apparently is one of our rewards for this stuff is useful.
Should we blow up the corpse or burn it? Like, I'll be honest, like disposing of like creepy undead blood monster people is kind of outside my wheelhouse.
I think we'll zoom out again. The four of you discussing like, all right, how should we dispose this corpse? I guess we have to get the blood. All right. So normally, the marshal goes to the XP, but I've taken that for myself because I'm selfish because I like doing it. All right. So everyone, I say it right now. Suddenly my throat seizes up. At the end of each mission, mark 1 XP if you survived. So I got 1. If you brought into play your heritage or traumas, so basically if heritage is like you used a heritage trait, and per threat of the highest threat opponent on the mission, she was a level 3, so take 3 XP. And then we go through each individual person. They're all specialists. It's so weird. All right, for Farrah, did you help your squad through might or fortitude? Absolutely.
I'll be right back. I just had a ring at the doorbell.
Cool, no worries. All right, take that 1 XP. I say that as if hear me. Valeria, did you help your squad through medical knowledge or emotional comfort?
Yes.
Oh yeah. All right, so take that 1 XP. Melislav, did you help your squad through enforcing discipline or strategic planning?
I did.
Hell yeah. And finally, Scarlet Dancing Glade, did you help your squad through stealth or foresight?
Yes.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So yeah, take that 1 XP. So yeah, everyone's all XP'd up. Guess we have enough time to like at least get the secondary mission roll. I don't want to keep that hanging. We'll just get that. I say out of the way. We always end the session with like, yeah. Let's just get that out of the way. Then we'll apply all the rewards and penalties because we do take a penalty from having not done that third mission.
Okie dokie. Let's see here. Engagements. Everyone on that mission is oath sworn to the Legion. Oh, and by the way, I think we're sending the Grinning Ravens along with this mission. We don't have intel to spend on this. There are rookies, so not everyone is a veteran. I don't think there's a reason for anyone to distrust leadership on this mission. And we did bring the appropriate specialists. And since this is a recon mission, where did it go? Recon mission, supply, religious, recon. Quartermaster, would you like to spend a use of horses to add a die?
Yes, we would.
And I don't see any reason anyone would have started with a heavy load on this, so I'll assume they did not.
And they get a +1 because there's a pioneer specialist in a recon mission.
Oh, sweet.
All right, so that's 3 dice. There's some good odds.
3. All right.
Imagine we all roll ones. Imagine we roll. No, 4 is still good. Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's still a heavy choice. We probably should wait for a commander to show up. But the thing is, we are kind of a bit over. I think we'll let the results stand, and we may talk about it next session. Or do you think we should do it now? Because like the timing is well, it's still fresh. Because with a 4 to 5 second mission, you can either fail the mission or you can succeed. 2 squad members die, and all specialists take level 2 harm.
Right. That would be down to 1 squad member dying, and the level 2 harm stands, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Because of our long-term project that we did last time.
Because of our survival mission. I will say, like, part of the success, I'll say, is like, but because it's only a 4 to 5, but it's still a success. Oh, by the way, Chris, we got a 4 in the secondary mission. So fail the mission or you succeed, all specialists take. We bumped out level 1 harm, and you lose 1 rookie. And because it's a 4 to 5, I'll say that you don't get all the rookies as part of the reward for this mission. You'll get like 2. So you know, it's good. It's a good trade if you choose to let this succeed. Go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
I think we should take the success. That's my 2 cents.
A net gain of rookies. Thanks, David. What do you think, Commander?
Well, we didn't lose any of our like named rookies that we actually liked, did we?
On the Grinning Ravens is, well, I think we still had 5. We had 3 that weren't named. Zaya is on that, and Karaj, but we're not going to lose them. Well, one of them is a soldier, for one thing.
Okay, all right. As long as we're not using like one of the adorable rookies that have been playing with the horses, like I didn't want to have to sacrifice them yet.
Oh yeah, Brian David. There was a back at camp scene or a bunch of rookies just like, oh my gosh, these fire mains, they're gorgeous. Well, not like that. Not okay. One of them was, but yes, I don't think any of the Grinning Raven. I don't think any of the Grinning Ravens were any of those adorable ones. So you're gonna take it?
Yeah, I think take it. Can we really quick clarify what that long-term project did? Is it just 1 fewer rookie? We lose just 1 fewer rookie, or is it the number of rookies is reduced and the amount of damage to our specialist is reduced, or is it a pick or choose?
I think it was a trade-off. Either we reduce the harm to the specialist or the rookies survive, and that's our trade-off for that project, as I remember it. Like on a mixed success on a secondary, we either our rookies survive or our specialists take less harm.
Okay, in that case, let's say our specialists take that level 2 harm, and our
Well, they only take level 1 now. Yeah, because like the trade-off is like either your specialists take 1 level less harm, or all the rookies survive. So say if you choose all the rookies survive, you take level 2 harm. The specialists take level 2 harm.
then let's say all the rookies survive and the specialists take level 2 harm. Does that sound okay?
All right. Cool. Wow. Oh, that project's paying off. All right. So I think that's it. Wow. This is weird. We didn't lose anyone. That's a weird feeling. Only took us 8 sessions, but yeah. I think we'll wrap up there. I do want to stick around for like star submissions. We've been pinging that to the email for a while, to the email chain for a while, but I want to do it here while we're here for once, because we got David back and we brought Brian in. But yeah, we'll do that once I turn off the session. But yeah, thanks very much again for another rousing session of Band of Blades. Y'all are fab as always. Thanks for David for just slotting back in, and for Brian just slotting in as if he's always been there, which is fab. All right. This is the best the Legion has looked in a while. Let's keep it that way. I'll just say, Commander, are we advancing? Normally I just try to act this because I'm not good at coming up with missions on the spot. But the way the order is, I have to prep them in between missions. So this I explain for Brian's sake. But like, do you think we're advancing?
My instinct is to try and advance next time. I'm not, but I think we might not be in a position to do that unless we've gotten the boats. I think we have
for that. We can get the boats though.
Okay, as long as we're in the city, we can get the boats.
Yeah, we can get the
I
boats.
would say, you could have advanced without the boats, but it adds 2 dice.
Yeah, and we have some supply now, so for sure we can get the boats.
Okay, well, let's plan on advancing to I guess East Lake or Westlake. Westlake.
You're on Westlake, so you're advancing to East Lake.
Okay.
Yeah. And what's your mission focus? Let me very quickly check what actually missions are available on East Lake. All 4 are available.
Okay. It seems like we still have plenty of religious supplies, so I don't think we need to do anything religious unless we just get a super duper cell.
We have a ton of religious supplies because we just got more, and we were already like overstocked.
Okay, so it sounds like supply and recon would be the best. Still, our morale is bonkers still. So assault's main gain is morale, I think.
I will say you didn't choose that one mission, so you do get the penalty. That's -1 morale and +1 pressure.
Okay, I'll add on the pressure now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna say the focus would be on supply and recon with a main focus on supply. Because I want to get our supplies restocked, so in case we need to like bump up some long-term projects or take extra actions later, we'll have that available.
Okay. Oh, and your chosen is 1 favor away from getting another ability. All right. I'm gonna stop the broadcast again. Y'all have been fab. Stick around. If folks need to go because we are like a bit over, feel free to do so. But if not, I'd like for y'all to stick around for a quick round of stars and wishes. But I'm gonna stop the live stream. Goodbye, YouTube.